everyone, welcome to another episode of the 20th Trench. It's your girl here, Abby Muturi, and I'm so excited to see you on yet another episode. Like, hey, yeah, strong, and yeah, I let my hair out. Team Natural, come on, msitu, like Karura. I'm so glad to see you guys. If you're new here, or if you're just viewing casually, please subscribe and like and share and comment on the 20th Trench, because it's a really nice channel over here. Na hapa watu wanatoka na degree. It's a lot of education. I just pick up knowledge and bring it to you here, guys, for free. Can you imagine? I'm so nice. I'm a really good person, and I'm so glad like we are on another episode of learning and doing and self-development and becoming better people. And today I wanted to talk about something that has been a personal struggle for me, being vulnerable and all that. Like something that has really been a personal struggle for me, and I feel like for a lot of people, maybe the people who will feel like this particular episode will resonate with them. And I'm like, if you feel like that, you can comment and share. And yeah, so today I'll be talking about boundaries and boundaries, something in the lines of people pleasing, but mostly boundaries. And I read something that really on a forum I was not really before that. There was a forum I had attended recently, and one of the panelists said something about sacred yeses, and it really impacted me. And she was talking about how she used to like say yes to everything. She used to be like, she didn't really know when to say no and when to say yes. And when she would say no to people, she'd feel like she's a really horrible person. She's not there for the people, for other people, for the people she cares about. And then she met someone who introduced her to the concept of sacred yeses, and this means knowing when you really want to say yes, because sometimes you can find yourself in situations na unashanga, what am I even doing here? Like I don't even want to do this, but just for the sake of keeping peace, or for the sake of making other people comfortable, you just said yes and went ahead with it. And I read something, I read a quote, not really a quote, but something that really resonated with the person I have been for the longest time. And this person was saying that I have spent my whole life making other people comfortable, and I realized that I was never comfortable myself. And for the people who know me very well, you can tell, let me tell you, if there's one person who is like you will never feel uncomfortable around, it's me. I think basically because I'm a really approachable person. I tend to think I'm a very approachable person. I'm basically an approachable person, and I like making people comfortable. If this was a job interview, I'd say something like, I know how to anticipate people's needs. But then there are times that I really question myself, and I ask myself, do I know how to anticipate people's needs? Or sometimes I just do things that I do things at the expense of my own comfort so that other people can feel better. You know how maybe kitambo, when you used to have guests over and you'd be like so many at your place, nyinyi wenye mko huko, the wenyejis, mnaambiwa you can sleep on the floor, let the guests sleep on the bed. Or maybe if you're so many, nyinyi mtakesha, mtakesha huko living room, and then the guests can have the bed. So I feel like my whole life has been a get together where part of my whole life has been a get together where guests get to sleep on my bed and I get to sleep on the floor. That's how I've been feeling the whole time. It could be people pleasing, because why did we do that? We wanted the guests to feel comfortable at the expense of our comfort, which is a good thing, because being brought up in an African society, you have to ensure that your guests feel very comfortable. They eat from the best plates, where you mnatumia containers za Kimbo and whatever. And yeah, I feel like my whole life has been like that. My whole life has been a Christmas get together. But right now, when I'm really working on myself, I have decided that no more of that. No more treating people better than I actually treat myself, because what is that? Yoni nini, what is that? And from reading the definition of boundaries by Catherine, I feel like there's so much power in whatever boundaries are, and it says that boundaries are a limit or an edge that separates you from others. And it was really powerful. This definition itself was really powerful to me and really impacted me, because if it's a limit or an edge that separates you from others, if you do not have boundaries, then what separates you from others? What makes you unique? What makes people feel like, once I do this, I've crossed the line with this person, and once I do this, I've tested the limits of this particular person. And let me tell you, if there's something that will cost your peace in this life, other than taxes, it's lack of boundaries. Because sometimes I think of things that I have let slide, and when we are together as friends, we like to chochana, unaambia mtu, that can never be me, I'd never let that slide, when I know in truth I've let that and more slide, that and more. And I figured that even in my relationship and my friendships, I've been the kind of person who's usually passive aggressive. Yeah, passive aggressive, because I'm not really able to express what I feel exactly. And when something happens to me, and when people cross me the wrong way, it's rare. But then let me tell you, it's rare occasions. This is as rare as a black polar bear. You can never find me like on a one-on-one, me arguing with another person, being like, why did you do that? Oh, you're like this, you're like this. I do not do that. And the kind of way I used to protect my peace was shutting down. But when you shut down, you're not really protecting your peace. You're not. There's like a storm brewing within you. It's chaos within you. So I figured in my relationships and in my friendships, mostly I was like that. I used to be like that. I'm like, this person has done this, and then they'll be like, hey, mbona umejam? I'm like, you should figure that out. Why do you think I'm angry? Oh, unadhani mbona nimejam? But I'll not be like confrontation. I'm a very non-confrontational person. Yeah, I'm not like an innately aggressive person. I'm really non-confrontation, unless, hey, but then if you find me in like a confrontation, just know it's that other person. It's not me, but it's that other person who crossed the line. So I'm basically, and I figured like being passive aggressive does not help you at all. When sometimes, the way you used to say like silence means consent. Sometimes when you shut down and when you're silent, when people do things to you and you're silent, they can think that you're okay with whatever they've done. Because sometimes someone can talk to you a certain way, or they can touch you a certain way, and if you're like, unanyamazia your story, they'll think that you're okay with it. Like, hey, let's go ahead. She's into this. So I figured like and I had, there's a time back then I read something, I don't know if I read, I had someone talking about peacemakers and peacekeepers. And peacekeepers are the, when you keep, it means it's something that is existing at the moment. If there's peace at the moment, you want to keep it that way. But when you make peace is like when you go to, you're deployed maybe to Haiti or Kismayo. There's something going on, like there's really something going on. There's chaos, there's war, people are at war there. But then you fight, you confront. This is the issue. You go to the root of the matter, and once that happens, and then you decide, oh, this was what was causing the whole chaos, the whole of this war. This is where this stemmed from. This is where this problem is coming from. And when you address that, now you've made peace. There'll no longer be that issue of, hey, this and this happened. It won't happen again. So I realized I'm one of those people who like to maintain the way the situation is. Like, we're not having any argument, then that's all right. Let's keep it that way. And really, when you keep the peace, when you get used to keeping the peace around you, you realize that there's a war brewing within you. So you're so used to letting people do whatever they want, let people talk to you however they want, and letting people touch you however they feel like. And you just want to maintain that kind of peace, that you don't want to confront anyone. and that can really mess with your health, with your mental health. That can really mess with your peace. So while I'm reading about boundaries and people pleasing, because it's something really that has been a personal struggle for me, especially expressing how I feel, you would never know. Sometimes on most occasions you'd never know, I'm really mad. I feel like I have a very good poker face. I have a very good poker face. You'd never know, like, I'm mad. You never know if I'm going through it, because I just tend to be calm. My face won't show it, but deep down in my heart, I'm going through it. So to overcome this, because it's something that I'm constantly trying to overcome, something, it's a new thing. And recently I read something that when you've been people pleasing for a long time, sometimes when you express how you feel and when you start to set boundaries, it can be very hard for you, because you're not sure if you're being mean or you're actually setting the right boundaries. So it's really a struggle, because it's boundaries that have not been there before. So sometimes when you tell people, don't do that, don't touch me like that, they'll be like, "Hey, but see, kitambo I did that and you were okay with it." Or when you tell them, "Don't talk to me like that," they'll be like, nini mbaya na wewe leo, because you're not that kind of person. So it really comes from a place of, and I talk about this a lot, you have to be self-aware to realize that that this is where my limits are at. Because if you do not know yourself, then what limits are you setting? Limits of what? Limits to what end, right? So you have to be, like, really self-aware, and also train yourself to express yourself. Train yourself to really express how you're feeling, express your emotions. And I read somewhere that if something happens to you, like if you want to confront something, it was talking about having a voice. It's something in the lines of having a voice. And this person was saying, like, speak, raise your voice, even if your voice is shaky, as you said, even if your no is like, no, stop doing that, even if your no won't come out like Martha Karua, Iron Lady type of no, please let people know, express how you feel, let people know, by the way, don't cross me, find someone else to play with, learn to express your feelings, learn to express how you feel, and clearly and assertively. Don't be like, watch her. Don't be like, learn to express how you feel clearly and assertively. Assertiveness. We read about assertiveness. Let's, like, learn, find your voice. Even if your voice is shaky, find your voice, and that is how you begin to set boundaries. And maybe over time, people will realize that this person has transformed. They're not the kind of person I was messing with back then, right? They're not the kind of person I was messing with back then. And also, communicate in the moment that thing happens. And a friend of mine, there's a time we were talking about something really weird and bad that had happened to me. And I was like, I was telling this friend of mine, like, when this thing happened, I didn't even, like, I was just shocked, and I didn't even tell the person, don't do that, why are you doing this? I just went silent. And so this person was telling me, the moment that thing happens again, in the moment, right there and then, tell that person, what the hell, what are you doing, ni nini wewe? So, like, address the matter in the moment, right there and then. And this is how, like, you set boundaries. Because, like I said, when you're silent, when you let things slide, when you're silent, when someone says something to you and you're silent, they may think, nani sawa, I can talk to this person this way. You can actually set a standard on how people can treat you. So right in that moment, when that thing happens, when that thing that you feel has crossed a line, and sometimes it can be very hard, because you're not used to setting limits, you're used to people stepping all over you. And let me tell you, when you let people can step on you. People, even with stilettos, they don't mind, they'll step on you like a mat. So try to, right when it happens, address it, and address it directly to that person, not to, don't come to tell us that parties, because sisi tutakuchocha, but then, and then we'll gang up on this person, but this person does not know why we are not talking to this person, to him or her. So directly address the thing that tests your limit or your edge and your boundaries right in the moment, and directly to the person it concerns. Don't come to tell us, tell the person. Yeah, that's how you set boundaries. And then they'll be like, this girl, this guy can express themselves. Yeah. So, and it really, I think one thing with when you're unlearning to people please and when you're learning to set boundaries, there's a peace that comes with it, because you know that the things that you actually say yes to are the ones that you really mean, are the ones that align to your beliefs, are the ones that align to whatever you want to do. You're really saying, you say yes when you really want. Sacred yes is saying yes when you really want, and that is success intelligence. You don't just say yes to everything that comes along. And I listened to a podcast a while ago by Oprah Winfrey, and she was saying how, like, the first time she said no to her friend, and the friend was like, okay, and she thought like the friendship is now gonna be awkward because she said no to this friend. But then he was okay. It's like, yeah, you said no, you were not in a position to help. So unless the people in your life are really looking to manipulate you and are in the relation, unless the relationships you're in are conditional, people who actually care about you do not care when you say no if you're not in a position to help. Because sometimes, a friend can holler at you and they're like, ukona 10 G's. And you know very well that is when you had set aside for shopping, or you'd set aside for something that was really meaningful for you. But because you want to seem like the kind of friend who's always there for other people, you send. And then kidogo unalala kwa viti za blaze, because you don't know when to say no. You don't know like when to really, you don't know how to set boundaries. That's the thing. So it's really hard, and I'm saying this from a point of empathy, because it's been a personal struggle, expressing myself, setting limits, knowing who to give access to. It's really been a struggle, but it's something I'm unlearning. And if I can unlearn it, everyone can do it. Everybody can do it. Everybody can get it, right? So really, really, let's set boundaries. Let people know, can't play with me, find someone else to talk to like that. Can be me you're talking to like that. Can be me you're touching like that. And eventually you realize that you have grown to be this untouchable person who can only be accessed by specific people, and you'll have a lot of peace in your mind and heart, and you'll only say yes to the things that really matter to you. And that's all for this episode. Please comment on topics that you'd really like me to address, or things that you feel we can talk about and discuss on the 20th Trench. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and comment. I've been your girl, Abby Muturi. Bye.